On the 23rd of June 2016, the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union after more than 40 years of membership. What will the implications be following this historic vote? British politics is in turmoil. The breakup of the United Kingdom seems imminent, and even the future of the European Union itself is at stake. Can Britain survive? Can Britain prosper? To discuss this, I am joined with Dominic Lennon, physicist, and Ben Lennon, philosopher, on this special podcast.
That was a little over the top, but
That was good. That was wasn't it? I was surprised how dramatic that
yeah. I don't know.
Put on your
the
trailer voice.
2016.
The 23rd of June, 2016.
Our Prime Minister has resigned. The markets are in turmoil.
Are they in turmoil?
Not really.
Well, sort of.
They kind of went.
It just sounds cool.
It sounded, yeah.
Yeah, we can make the case it's sort of in turmoil.
It's pretty.
There's confusion.
There's
Temporarily.
confusion. Yeah, actually, well, it's worse off for Spain and France, but
But leaving the EU, it's quite surprising, isn't it?
Well, that's right. Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Ben's got the statistics and he's just messing about with the phone right now. So,
He's poised to
Why the
read.
fuck say it like that? He's messing about with the phone right
because you
now.
are messing about with the phone.
Oh, well, I lost it.
What have you done?
I lost it.
For fuck's sake.
Oh,
it's back.
Okay, look. Basically, guys, it was a really close vote. And in fact, a lot of people were not expecting a leave vote. In fact, Ben here has got the exact number of votes on either side. So, Ben, take it away.
Britain voted 17,410,742 to leave and 16,141,241 to remain.
Okay, let's get that one more time.
That's 51.9% to leave and 48.1% to remain.
That's very good. Just do it again, just in case people missed that.
No, fuck them.
You guys were prominent Remainers, weren't you? In all seriousness, how do you feel? I mean, you must be a bit gutted.
No?
Yeah. Surprised.
I'm surprised too,
surprised
actually.
so many people went that option.
No, you're surprised. Everyone's surprised.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
You're pleasantly surprised.
I was a leaver.
Yep.
I'll be completely honest. I saw that the the polls said that it was too close to call the vote.
Yeah.
But I did look at the bookies.
You looked at the book, yeah.
I figured, the bookies will be very accurate because they got money on this.
Yeah.
And I did have it on 3-1 to remain and 8-1 to leave.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish I put money on that now.
I do too.
It was interesting, really, looking at the middle 40 middle 40 constituencies.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did. Birmingham did 50-50, didn't they? I think it was slightly leave. I think it was 49.5 to remain and 50.5 to
Birmingham
leave.
was meant to be quite a decent remain. I think it looked like it was in Remain side. They put it in anyway.
Absolutely.
And it was kind of banking on that because it's had the most amount of people in it of all the other constituencies, 700,000. But yeah.
In fact, I think the Midlands as a whole were very, very, very much leave. In the Midlands, I think, and the West Midlands, it was only Warwickshire or Warwick who voted predominantly.
The trend of the night was the North.
Yeah,
was was a lot more leave than expected, which makes sense really.
Ben, why was that the case? Why do you think the north of England was more predominantly leave than remain? Enlighten us.
No one can see a shrug on a podcast.
Well, why the fuck would I know? Would you have any clue more?
I would have a few guesses, but I want to hear your view.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, like what? I don't know. Maybe they're just more kind of far removed from politics of it all, and just kind of making like a voting emotionally, and just kind of wanted their voices heard more in the north. I don't know. It's weird because in Scotland, the majority voted Remain. I don't know how to elaborate.
No, wait. You're right though. When you said like people in the north might feel like disconnected, I think in the sense that they feel perhaps cut off from the Westminster establishment and the Brussels elite in the Euro elite in Brussels. I think that's a good point. I think that's true as well. I think a lot of people in this country basically thought that the establishment just did not represent them whatsoever, and that perhaps a vote to leave would be a step to a system of governance in which was more representative of them, in which they had more of an influence over as well.
I'm not really sure what they expect really to happen. So it could be interesting. They just wanted some sort of a change.
There's definitely.
I did hear it described as a silver bullet. Hope that it would cure everything, but I don't know.
The big question is, what's going to happen afterwards?
That is the big question.
What is in store over the next?
This is
few
why
months?
we've got you, Steve, because hopefully you're going to make some predictions.
Steve's top 5 predictions after the EU referendum. That must sound really lame.
Really lame.
We'll edit that out, maybe. No, it probably won't bother.
No, yeah. Have you got any predictions? Do you have an idea of where everything might start going now?
Well, right now, David Cameron is going to have to try and unify the Conservatives because over the last few months... How
split are the Conservatives on this vote?
There is a sizable number of Conservative MPs who are staunch Brexiteers, and I know that there are a load of backbencher MPs who are really calling for a Brexit government.
Do you know like how much split of the whole Conservative Party was for Leave and Remain, or no clue at all?
I don't know.
No clue.
I'd appreciate if you don't ask me 5 questions.
Hard questions. I'm interested though because I want to know how split the Conservative Party. Because if your party,
I think the majority of Conservative voters did vote for Remain. I mean, vote for Leave. I think according to poll, it was around 60%. I think
60% of Conservatives for Leave.
I think the percentage for UKIP voters was about 96%.
Oh, blimey!
Well, that
doesn't surprise me at all.
Not surprising, is it?
Makes me wonder who the other 4% are.
What is also very interesting is because with David Cameron essentially saying that he's going to step down by October, there are going to be fresh leadership elections within the Conservative Party right now. In fact, it's probably starting right now. You're going to have the likes of Boris Johnson, maybe Michael Gove, maybe some other prominent Conservative members, basically just trying to gather support within the Conservative Party in the hopes that by October they could be the next Prime Minister. Say Boris Johnson. Yeah. Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson becomes the next Prime Minister. Would you guys be in favour of that? Do you like Boris Johnson? Do you think he's the man to lead Britain out of the EU? I mean,
I don't think it really comes down to one.
I don't think I was expecting that. I wasn't expecting Boris Johnson to somehow get to the point where he'd be almost...
Like, do you get the feeling he's just sort of just bumbled along and he just has to find himself in this position?
No, I think he's a little smarter than most people think he is.
He is a lot smarter, yeah.
And he probably knew that if he backed this and he won, it would put him in a good position.
Yeah.
Very good position for being Prime Minister.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why he did it, really.
He's definitely a lot more shrewd and cunning than people give him credit for.
I don't know. I have no clue whether he'd be a good Prime Minister or not, or a leader of the Conservative Party.
I think he would be a decent choice. I know that he's very popular.
Yeah.
I think he'd be pretty good. I think he'd be almost ideal for the job.
Yeah.
Whether people think that way, I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see.
It's going to be interesting. Who else do you reckon would be good for the job?
Oof.
And who would be bad for the job?
Well, I
Apart
think
from David Cameron, of course.
it's a shame that he stepped down.
Yeah.
I liked him, but
Yeah.
I think he put too much skin in the game on the Remain side.
I don't.
He could have got away with it if he'd have been neutral. If he'd have just gone, okay, look, we're going to hold this referendum, but it's the British people's decision. I'm not going to influence you either way.
Yeah, so
Then he could have probably stayed on.
Really?
I think this is
his own
doing, yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Michael Gove, I think he'd be a decent choice as well. I mean, Ben, if you were the Prime Minister, and it was up to you to renegotiate our terms of withdrawal from the EU,
what?
how would you get about what?
If I had to do what I didn't
Negotiate the terms of our withdrawal from the EU. How would you go about doing it?
I have no idea what that would even involve.
Well, it would be you, and you'd go to Brussels, and you would go, okay, we're leaving the EU. How are we going to do this?
I don't know. I'll just be like, oh, I'm out. We're out of here.
You can't just do that.
You just go fuck yourselves. You're
I'm
just
No, what? Just go fuck yourself.
Activate Treaty Lisbon Treaty 50, and then
I don't know.
Hang on.
The robot
50.
voice.
Just say I activate this thing, and I activate my trap card.
You've triggered my trap card.
Yeah,
Article 50. Brexit.
Right, yeah, and then don't pay him.
That causes your entire organisation to be disintegrated.
I don't know. I really don't know how it goes. Yeah. Yeah. How'd you... Go on.
Well, I don't know. Shit.
All right.
This is a good
I'm not.
good reason Ben is
I'm
the
not a
next
politician.
candidate for...
I
You're the
think that's
politician.
right.
You tell
Prime
me what
Minister.
involved.
I'd like to hear the opinion of the common man.
The common man. Fuck you.
I reckon
You want to say you're the common man?
common
Or
man
you-
was like, oh yeah, we'll just leave.
Oh no,
won't we?
you're the thinker, you're the philosopher.
No, that's just not my role. You know, I don't know what that.
No, this is very political. I'm the one who really sort of studies politics, so I get what you mean.
I don't know what that. How
But
we
hey.
even start that.
So that's what's going on in the Conservative Party, but I think also what's interesting is what's going on in Scotland and to a lesser extent Northern Ireland. Who will both have demanded... No, I think Northern Ireland
Have raised the question of...
Northern Ireland have definitely called for votes on the border
Yeah.
for Northern Ireland to be part of the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
Sinn Féin have definitely called for that. And
So Ireland would just be one country.
it would be, just Ireland.
That would be weird.
And it would...
It would be
And they would
great.
all be using the euro.
Yeah, it would be United Ireland in
United
the
Ireland.
EU, and I presume using the euro, yeah.
That would be just called Ireland. Then.
Yeah, or I don't know, the Republic of
Whatever that one.
So it is Northern Ireland and Scotland as well.
I agree that Northern Ireland would vote to join the Republic of Ireland. Just,
They've had like a.
Then why have they raised
been at
it?
each other's necks for ages.
but Scotland, that's a very different matter. I mean, as we all remember, the referendum was very close in 2014. 55 voted to remain, or 45 voted for independence.
It's not that close.
That's pretty close.
That is pretty damn close.
No, it's not
That's not as close as this,
I know.
but
That's
still
right.
pretty damn close.
Well,
I mean, what, 45? That's literally, if you go into a room in Scotland with about 10 people, literally about 5 of them,
4.5
4 of them will be people who want independence.
Or 4.5, half of a
Well,
half
you
a
can't
person
have
will
4.5 persons, so it would be there's either 4 people
That
or
half
5 people.
no, you could have half the person wants to stay and half the person wants to leave.
That's what you mean, a half person wants
That's the thought. But no, this half of his body wants to leave, and this half wants to remain.
Half.
Well, how does that work? So
It
I'm one
doesn't
half the body,
work.
and you're one half the body, and I'm like,
They disagree.
I really want to, be part of the UK. We're stronger together. No, but independence, Braveheart.
I don't know.
Freedom!
Exactly. Yeah.
Freedom.
Freedom.
William Wallace and all that shit.
But I think a second independence referendum in Scotland is quite likely.
How many years or what
But-
do you reckon until we would have that vote again?
I don't think it's going to be called straight away. I think that the government has a lot to sort out at the moment. But I think definitely in the coming months, maybe, I think they'll have to call a referendum.
And do you know how long it will be until the actual referendum is itself?
I have no idea. I imagine that it might be in about 6-7 months or to a year. I don't think it will be dragged on as long. I think I think it would probably last about a year of campaigning. But that's not really that important, really, the date.
Yeah, well, as you said, if it happened, when it happens, might change people's opinions, right?
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I think depending on how the negotiations depending on how the negotiations are going with Brussels, and perhaps depending on how strong the UK economy is, that could affect the a possible independence referendum as well.
Yeah.
Well, for example, if they hold the referendum in 2 years' time, and during that time, Britain's economy has perhaps not only survived but prospered.
Yeah.
And the negotiations with Brussels are going very well. Like, I don't know, we've got access to the single market through the European Free Trade Area, but we've managed to leave the EU and we're out of like the political sort of implications of that.
Yeah.
There's a strong possibility that
They might.
Scotland would vote to remain in the UK because they'd be like, oh, it's not bad leaving the EU, we're actually doing pretty good.
Yeah. So,
And then Nicola Sturgeon would be like, oh, shit.
But if it
We're
goes the
very
other way,
professional.
if it goes the other way,
William Wallace and shit.
William Wallace shit.
William Wallace and shit.
If it goes the other way,
That's your favourite word, isn't it, man?
shit. That's
Shit.
not a word.
Just
not a word.
scratching shit.
It's just a. Oh, no.
Fair enough.
Just a word.
Do you have anything to add to
what?
Scotland?
Ben, would you like Scotland? Would you want Scotland to be an independent country?
No,
Or would you like it to be part of the UK?
Just UK, man.
Yeah, better together.
Yeah, better
Great
together.
Britain,
Sure.
the British.
Yeah, I
Union
don't
of
see why there's-
English, Scots, Welsh, and.
We're pretty much the
Northern Irish.
same, apart from our accents.
What's the Scottish accent like, Ben? Could you give us an
I
example?
can't do a Scottish accent.
Sure you can, you're just scared of embarrassing
No,
yourself.
I can't do a Scottish accent.
I'll do a Scottish
I'm
accent
pretty
if you do a
crap at all.
Scottish accent.
You can't even say accent, mate.
He said
Accent.
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 No, I haven't done a Scottish accent. Shut the fuck up. Can't do it well for me, but better do an English one.
The economy. How's the economy of the UK going to look after this historic referendum? What do you guys think?
Don't know. I really don't
Brilliant.
know.
Fair enough.
It could keep going straight. Nothing could happen, or it could go
Well,
down.
I mean, at the moment,
I don't
we're
think it's
still-
going to go up.
We're still a part of the EU, so in that sense, nothing really has changed whatsoever. We've still got a free trade area with the UK, with the EU. There's still freedom of movements. We still, as I know, I think we still have to listen to the regulations. I'm not sure.
So what do you think will be the long-term implications for the economy?
Well, I voted
Better,
leave.
worse?
I think it would be better. What I think is, thank you, Ben.
Welcome.
It's very much appreciated. Very professional.
Anytime.
It will mean, say, for example, Belgian chocolate might be a bit more expensive because there'll be tariffs. However, staying in the EU means that we have tariffs for the rest of the world. So, things from outside the EU would theoretically be cheaper unless, of course, Britain put up tariffs of its own. So, New Zealand lamb would be cheaper. Imports from Japan, China would be cheaper. I mean, imports from anywhere across the world that's not part of
it's
the
not
EU
the EU, yeah.
would essentially be cheaper. Economically, I think it's going to be better because although when we have access to the single market, it's free trade across the EU. Being a part of the EU means that tariffs and regulations are enacted from imports and exports to and from the rest of the world. And we are actually free to, raise and lower tariffs according to our economic needs. So, for example, I think there's a lot of steel being dumped by China, cheap steel, to save the British steel industry. For example, the government could raise tariffs on Chinese steel to save our steel industry, and I don't believe that's happening at the moment within the EU. It's more there's more control. We have a greater say in how we sort of run the economy, which will obviously, I think, be better for us.
Hopefully. Yeah. All right.
Do you want to put the
I
case
don't
away?
know. I don't know. As I said,
Just leave it to Steve to explain everything.
you know more about politics than me.
That is true.
I just say, yeah.
Well,
this is
I know
true.
more about life than you.
They did, but people did say things would be bad, but I don't know.
About life.
It might not be bad. It's just it's going to be very interesting. It's one of those things you can't quite predict.
Absolutely. Guys, foreign policy. Now that
And
the
no
EU
one knows what's going on in the economy anyway. The economy just goes. No one knows.
I didn't say I said foreign policy.
But I know. I'm just making sure you know that the economy is just.
Well, I've changed the
Just
topic
one-
to
it
foreign
just one-
policy. When I say
No.
guys, foreign policy, that's not
Screw
an invitation
foreign
for you
policy.
to talk about more about
Look,
the
look how
economy.
interested Ben's face is in
This
foreign
is
policy.
so interesting conversation. Fuck.
Ben, war. Is it possible that we've left the EU?
That was too early.
It's
to
World
say
War
that.
Three.
It's too early to say that.
Is it the
at the moment, it's
doom?
not.
Is it nuclear war?
The nuclear war?
Like the Remainers have said. Some.
Is that really? Has anybody?
I think David Cameron did say that if we
Nuclear
leave the
holocaust.
EU, it could make World War III.
Just a bit. Of
It could.
was that just scare mongering?
make-
I personally think it's scare man. We've left the EU and there is no breakout of war. Yet.
Not dead yet.
Not dead yet, no. But foreign policy. I mean, for example, the EU did have was building towards a common sort of foreign policy. I mean, for example, the EU had common sanctions against Russia. So with the UK leaving the EU, it's going to be a bit more tricky to have standardised tariffs.
Fuck it, there's not going to be a World War III, dude.
No, we're talking about foreign policy.
How is Brexit going to impact foreign policy, not only for Britain but for the rest of the world? Do you think it's going to make the world a lot safer?
I don't know what that
Change-
means.
What do you mean?
I don't know foreign policy.
Don't you?
Not really, no.
Do you know what NATO is?
Yeah, I know what NATO is.
What does it stand
of
for?
course. I don't know what it stands for.
Wait, what? Because of the Brexit votes, there's a lot of Eurosceptics across EU countries that are now calling for referendums.
Okay.
In the Netherlands, there's calls for a referendum now. In Denmark, the majority of people say that they would want to leave the European Union. Even, I think in Italy, there's some
Really?
strong Eurosceptic views there as well. They do say it is possible that the European Union could disintegrate because of the Brexit vote.
Wow, that would
Well,
be
it'd
quite
be like a
crazy.
chain
A
reaction.
chain reaction, yeah.
Mm.
If people be like, oh, if Britain can get a referendum and leave the European Union, then why can't we?
Yeah,
Which is fair enough, really.
bit of a sad way for it to go, isn't it?
And
But then I guess it has to...
a whimper.
A whimper, yes, definitely a whimper.
A tiny little whimper.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of just slowly being disbanded until it kind of is unimportant. Or held
Until
up
there's just like,
Germany trying to keep it together.
there's Luxembourg and
But-
Serbia left. Those are the only two members left. Would you like the EU to disintegrate? Would you like it to continue?
I don't know. I've never really had any beef against the EU. I know it's not really...
I've
the
had a
best.
lot of
lovely
people
beef
do.
from the EU. There's French
Shut
beef,
up.
which is absolutely delicious.
Oh,
Shut up,
Steve.
Steve.
Fuck up.
It's not like
Oh,
it's not. I know it's not the best, but it's not awful at the same time.
Why did we vote to leave it then if it's not awful at the same time?
I didn't vote to leave it, did I?
Why did the majority of people?
Because I don't know. You said it yourself. Everyone was.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you said it yourself. A lot of people were trying to just go against the establishment.
But honestly, I think.
It's like going up to
fuck
someone
you,
like,
David
"Fuck
Cameron."
the establishment," and like shake or
But
something.
honestly,
Yeah.
seriously, I do think that this could be the beginning of the end for the European Union.
Yeah.
I mean,
But what's going to happen?
on top of the Brexit
Is
vote,
everybody just going to do their own thing?
Oh, there's a good
Just
chance,
run
there is a
their
good chance,
countries
actually.
independently? How will...
it could be the end of
What
the
would that...
United
what would that
Kingdom.
kind of Europe be?
Well, honestly, I wanna
if
start
everyone's,
Ben, what's that?
if everyone's like, what would that lead to? Like in terms of Europe, of like how would everything work?
Tell you what would be.
Ben, do you know how America, Canada, Mexico, and South America
What happens with the
interact
euro?
with each other? It would literally be like that. It
How
would be
would-
different
No.
nations who just.
Well, that's not
interact
so
with each
bad.
other.
What happens
What's the
with the
big deal
euro?
with that?
How do you?
It isn't. Yeah, it's not too.
How do you get rid of the euro? That's going to be an interesting one.
Well, I told you, the euro it's a terrible crisis. The euro crisis. I mean, even now, it's still got massive problems. In fact, it's got so many massive problems. It's not even headline news anymore, is it? It's just, everyone's accepts that. Oh, it's the euros. Yeah, they got problems.
Yeah.
No.
But how will they disband the currencies? If say a country with the euro, if everything decided to fall apart, do you just put back up your old currency?
I would assume so. Yes.
I don't know how that works. I wonder how that works.
I predict that Britain is on the path to a brighter future. I predict that Britons now have control of their destiny. We're free to make our own laws, free to make our own
sound
trade agreements.
You sound just like
We're free
Yeah.
to forge our own destiny.
Yeah.
So what about Europe? Well, is their future brighter or a lot?
Yeah, we've kind of.
I believe
we might have
This
done.
is a terrible day for Europe.
We've
It
done
has
all right
lost-
for ourselves, but we've actually damaged other people in the process.
On the contrary, I think the EU is a bad institution. If our actions cause the EU to disintegrate, might be there in the long run.
Yeah, I just would feel guilty if we sent another country into a recession.
That's very kind of you.
No,
You feel guilty? Oh, that makes
The
everything
poor
better.
Belgians, what have we done?
Yeah, wouldn't you?
No.
Why not? Because they're not British. They're people on this earth, on this tiny little
I feel
bit
guilty because what have I done that's caused a recession?
You voted to leave.
I wouldn't feel personally guilty.
Oh, right.
I might feel upset that they're in a recession. Like,
Yeah.
poor Belgians. Yeah, they're
I don't know why
losing jobs.
Belgium.
Why would I feel? Just an example.
Okay.
Any example. Why would you feel personally guilty?
I just think I won't feel guilty. I'll just be like,
Oh,
it'll just be a bit sad.
shame.
If we've caused this.
You'd be sitting there with your champagne, eating your fine
I know.
imported food from outside the EU, which is cheaper, going, those poor
At least we have it
Belgians."
better,
And
but they just, we cocked it all up for them.
But, those poor people. It makes the heart
Also my
cry out
brandy.
to them.
Yeah, he's a dickhead. He doesn't care about the world.
I
He
don't-
cares about himself and
That's
his
all everybody
and
does.
his imported from outside the EU beef.
Hey, imported beef from
Whatever.
outside the EU is tasty.
Yeah, why don't you just support British beef?
Do.
Yeah, we do. That's what we normally
I'm pretty sure
do.
that
I don't
most
think
of the UK is.
most beef is from the UK. I'm pretty sure. Ben,
Stop that.
Stop that.
Oh,
Stop.
I need a shit.
Oh, great.
It's pretty much the end of the podcast, and I think that's good timing since you need to do a number.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Well, you know. What?
Well, anyway, guys, do you want to have final thoughts on this referendum and Britain's future?
Bloody shock. That's it.
Very shocked. Do you think we're going to be fine? Can Britain survive?
Don't know. I can't. I think
We're fucked.
this is the first time we've ever done this. So you know.
Can Britain survive?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we're pretty
I'm
strong.
not talking to you. I'm talking to Ben now. He's got good answers. Ben, can Britain
What?
survive?
Of course we can survive. We're gonna be alright, but
Mm.
you know it might be a bit shaky for a while, but we'll bounce back maybe better. Maybe strong. I don't know. We can't say yet.
I think that's a perfect summary. I think that honestly, but Don, what are you saying?
Any
You
country.
didn't even answer my question.
I
said,
was
Don, do you
going
think
to
we're
answer
fine?
the question.
Well,
I was going to answer the question, then you know, Don, shut up. I'm going to ask Ben instead. All right, fuck you then, Steve. Yeah.
Don, do you think Britain can survive?
Well, we're one of the stronger countries out there, so you know, of course we'll be able to survive. We're not a small. We've got a decent economy, so you know, we can take the hit, or you never know, it might even become better. So yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, it was a close call, but for better or for worse, Britain has decided to vote to leave the European Union. What will the implications be? We can speculate, but no one knows for sure. Only time will tell. I'm Stephen Gardner, and this has been Free Peace in a Podcast. See you next time. Goodbye.